it's Guard here, and one of my subscribers was asking about winterizing their RV. They also have a PleasureWay. They have a Plateau TS. I have a Plateau XLTS. It's the wide body. The steps are basically the same, but there's a few different locations that are different on where the components are that you have to use, but it's the same basic steps. Now this is the way that I winterize my RV. There's other ways of doing it. Other people do it different ways. You might want to get out your owner's manual and read it and see what it says, because I don't want to be responsible for anything if it goes wrong, but I haven't had any problems with the way I do it. So here's how I do it. The first thing I do is I go outside and I drain my freshwater tank. There's a valve under there. Let's go out and take a look at that real quick. Okay, over there you can see there's a spigot. That is your drain for your freshwater tank. So you turn it so that it's the valve's in line and the water will start to trickle out. First thing you got to do is get that going, because it takes a while for that to drain. Alright, so now that my freshwater tank's drained, the next step I want to do is underneath, I'm up by the front seat right now. I'm at the driver's seat and I've got the chair turned around. There's a door right here. Behind this door there's 3 valves. Right now those valves are closed. And if I were to be using the camper, the RV, that's the way they would look. They're closed. That way the water system can be pressurized. Once those handles are turned parallel to the pipe, they're open, and they'll allow any water to drain out those pipes straight underneath the coach, right on the ground below here. Those are called the low point drains. So I've opened the water tank to let it drain, and I turn these handles so they're parallel to the pipes. That's open. And then the next thing we'll do is come up to the kitchen sink. Okay, alright, so the next step, I've got the freshwater tank draining, I've got those low point valves open. I come to the kitchen sink, and I just put it all the way to one way, either hot or cold, and I pull the lever and let it just drain out. There's not going to be any water pressure on it because the water pump's turned off. So I do it to cold, and then put it on hot, and just let it sit there. Okay. So now at this point my freshwater tank's drained, my low point valves are open, and I opened up the kitchen sink just to let air flow through the system. I come outside here to my water heater, the Truma Aqua Grow, take the cabinet off the door, and I don't have to worry about any pressure in the system because the water pump's turned off and the hot water's open, so there's not going to be any pressure. I don't have to worry about getting scalded or getting water on me or whatever. But I put this switch in the off position. So down is on, top is on, the middle is off. So you want that in the middle position off. Now this right here is how you take out your water filter. You push this little black tab up and pull this down, and the water filter comes out. Since I'm already winterized, here's the water filter. It would have looked like this when I pulled it out, and as soon as that popped out, water's going to start coming out here. So don't have your foot under there, because it's going to have a stream of water coming out. And this yellow is a chute, this little yellow piece of metal acts as a chute to get the water off the bodywork. After the water stops coming out, just go ahead and pull this filter out. This filter has O-rings on it, and that's what seals it. So you want to make sure you don't mess these O-rings up. Any little bit of water coming out, that's okay, because you're going to close this back up, and water can still come out. You can come over here and look. Look at the top.
Oh, the top.
You see how this is right here? Mm-hmm. The water's still going to come out.
Let's see your finger again.
Yeah. Hang on.
Okay,
wait, hang on.
Camera in there. Okay. There it is. Here's a finger.
Yeah, so when this door's... Here, put this up here again. So when this shield's up, the water's still going to come out. It's just going to drain right down here on your body. So you want to let that go as long as possible. Close the little handle back up and put your outside door back on and close that. Okay. So at this point my freshwater tank's drained, my low point valves are open, my water heater is drained. Okay?
Kitchen sink is open too.
And my sink's open to let any pressure out. What I do, I lost it, I can't show it to you, but I have on the city water, there's a little part you can buy like at Camping World. It screws into here where like your hose would go in. It's got a little nipple on it, and you can put like an air chuck on it, like a tire air compressor. And what I do is I take that little nipple. I have a hand pump for a bicycle pump, and I just push it with my hands. I just do like a tire pump, like a bicycle pump. That way I don't get a lot of pressure, and that'll push any water that's in the city water pipe out through the sink, or gets it out through the low point drains, whatever. It just helps get that water out of that one part of it. Some people use an air compressor, but you have to be careful that you don't use too much air pressure, or that you don't have a rusty old air compressor, like a tank on it that might be putting rust particles inside your tank. You don't want to do that. That's why I use a little bicycle pump. It's a new pump, and it works good for me. So that's how I do that. Let's go back inside and we'll take a look at the rest of it. And while I'm outside over here, I'm also going to open up where my utility shower is. This is the outside shower, and I open both valves and just let it kind of drain out the water. You can hear it sucking air as it goes down. So I open the hot, wait a few seconds, give it about 20-30 seconds so it stops making noise. Close that one, open the cold, leave it open until it stops making noise. When it stops making noise, I close those two valves back, and I go inside.
Can you shut up that part, close the door, because you won't be opening it again, is that? Oh yeah, you will, yeah, okay.
Okay, so now my water heater's drained, and I take this and I put it in a cabinet. This is the filter. Without this, your water heater is not going to work. So you want to keep this somewhere safe. You can either put it in a kitchen sink, in a drawer, cabinet, somewhere where you won't lose it. Very important. So you keep that. And then I come back to, on my unit, underneath my sofa, there's a panel here. I push this little tab in, and I can open up this panel, lay it to the floor. And over here there's 4 valves. And right now, since I'm already winterized, those are in the bypass mode. They would have been the opposite direction, and I would have turned them to that position, because in the winterizing process, that's how they look. They're bypassed right now. So that's how they would look. You have them that way, and you're done bypassing your water heater. So at this point, we can start filling, we can start putting our antifreeze in that. But I want to show you something else here too. Okay, come over here. This right here is the red key. And this red key is in this spot right here. And you turn the key and you pull the key out. And what that does, that disengages the solar panels and the engine alternator from charging the lithium batteries. When it's cold out, if it's below freezing, you cannot charge your lithium batteries. It'll ruin them. So you turn that key and you pull it out, and you've disengaged the solar panels and the engine alternator. And here's the lithium batteries, just so you can see them. They're 2 100 amp lithiums that are underneath the couch. So close that. You always want to keep this shut. You don't want to have anything open, because you do not want a metal dog bowl or flashlight or something to roll into those wires and short out. It would be a very bad situation. So keep this door shut. You can leave this door open while you do stuff, but you don't really need to go in there and risk shorting anything out. So, but we're going to close this up now. All right, stop the. Okay, I've already done the kitchen sink, hot and cold. Let it stay open until it stops making noise. I've done the shower. I mean the outside shower. You have to do the same thing with the inside shower. Open the valve to hot, let it stop making noise, turn it to cold, let it do whatever it does until it stops making noise. The vanity sink, do the same thing there, and then hold the pedal down on the toilet. And then that way, pretty much a lot of the fresh water is drained from the system. Okay, so now that I've got everything pretty much drained, I'm going to start the process of putting antifreeze in the system. So I go back outside underneath the RV where that freshwater tank is. There's a valve that we have it open right now to drain the freshwater tank. I put it in the closed position. That's the way anything that goes into the tank is going to stay in the tank unless I pump it out through the water pump. So with that now closed, I open up the outside door where I can fill my freshwater tank, and I put in 2 gallons of RV antifreeze. Not just antifreeze, but RV antifreeze, this type that goes into a freshwater system. You want to make sure you get the right stuff. So I put 2 gallons in there. I come back inside the RV, and I close my low water valves. So that will enable me to pressurize the water system. Those 3 valves are closed, and I go and I make sure all the valves are closed in the kitchen sink, the shower, the bathroom, and all that. The outside one I know is already turned off, and I start the water pump. When the water pump starts to pump the fluid into the lines, it'll finally reach pressure, and it should turn off. If it just keeps on running, then you've left a valve open or something somewhere. So as soon as it shuts off, you're all set to go. At that point, you can now flush each individual tap. So you open up the kitchen sink to hot and let it run until the pink fluid comes out. Put it on cold, let it run until the pink comes out. Close those, go into the bathroom, do your shower, hot and cold, and individually until pink water comes out. Your sink in the bathroom, hot and cold until pink comes out. Hold your toilet down until pink comes out. And then go back outside and open your valve on your shower and run the shower until pink water comes out on hot and cold. Make sure they're all shut off. You can come back inside and you can turn off the water pump because you're not going to be needing it at this point. There's no need in having a water pump when you're winterized because you're not going to be using the water system for anything. So at this point, the batteries are disengaged by solar and on the alternator, and your freshwater system is full of antifreeze. So you're okay to be in cold weather at this point. The only thing you have to not do is start your generator or plug into shore power, because that will charge your batteries. There's a switch breakers, I'm not sure which they are. I don't use them because I don't run my generator or plug in when it's cold like that. I stay in the south. But you can flip the breakers and then stop that, and you can plug in, or you can run your generator. But you have to make sure you trip those breakers to isolate them from the batteries. But that's basically waterproofing the system and winterizing the system. And I'll do a de-winterizing it later on when I go to Florida again. Thanks for watching. Bye.